7-8 in the small blind, 400 in the pot. The ante's already in there, so there's 100 and 200, and the ante 25 in antes. 7-8 suited. I love those hands. Those are the type of hands that we want to see the flop with and play post flop. I consider myself in the cash games. I consider myself a very good post flop player. I'm not much of a tournament player, but I'll play cash games anytime. But those are great hands to see the flop with, and especially play a multi-level pot with, because you can if you hit it, you can really get paid off on it. So what I want to do is I want to complete the small flop. I mean small blind, and if I do hit the flop, then I should definitely get paid off. I completed. Boris checks. I hit my 7. I'm still checking. I can't be betting here just in case he decides to do something crazy. Like, so if I would bet, let's say 250 or 260 into $500 pot, and he decides to shove, I'm gonna have to fold. So I'm check is the right play here, and Boris bets at 200. So here's something that I'm asking myself. $200 bet tells me that he doesn't have a king. He may have a 10 or a7, or just trying to pick up the pot. If he did have a king, knowing that I got 6,700, and I might be holding a 10 or a 7, you know, or even well, I can't be holding an overpair here. That would be silly to say. But he's betting 200 into a $500 pot, which tells me that he definitely does not have a king. 200 into $500 pot tells me that he might have a 10 or he might have a 7. I'm hoping that he does. If he does have a 10, that I'm screwed. If he does have a 7, I'm still okay with it because we can still chop. But I'm hoping that he does not have a 7 with a higher kicker. So I'm calling his 200. 10 peels off. 10 is a scare card. This is where I have to check in case if he did have a 10. So I'm checking, and I want to see what Boris does. I check, and he checks behind. Now, that check behind tells me he does not have a king or a 10. So he has to have a 7 because he did bet, or he's got complete air. So 8 peels off. Now 8 is probably the best card for me that I can see, which kind of counterfeits my 7 and giving me 2 pair 8s and 10s. And now I'm certain that I'm almost certain, I'm not positive, but I'm almost certain that I have the best hand. If I did put him on a 7, 7 even with a higher kicker, definitely not 7-8, maybe Jack 7 or something like that. So in this case, I'm definitely putting him on a 7. So I'm betting out 200 because I want to make small enough bet for him to call, and because I know that if I bet 200 into 900 and he shoves right here, hypothetically speaking, I mean, he did have trip 8s, or he did have or I'm sorry, if you did have pocket 8s, or if he does have a full house, or if he does have the best hand, I'm betting 200, somewhat of a value bet, yet more or less defensive bet. I definitely can't check here, because if I was to check and he bets, I'm gonna have to fold. So I do have to bet. So 200 into 900. If he raises, I'm folding. If he calls, 200 should be a perfect bet for him. He's getting 5.5 to 1 pot odds. If he's got any kind of anything, he should call, and he does call, and shows up with 5-7. So I did have a pretty good read on him. Unfortunately, he did have a 7 with the 5 kicker, but after my bet, he should have been out and be conserving more chips, more or less. Okay, A7 is a standard shove if it's folded to me. I'm not going to explain why in details, but 400 in the pot, me being a chip leader, I can actually bully people around, and I honestly don't even mind getting called by any of these guys. I would, however, mind if Boris would call me. It would not cripple me that much, but I do not mind if Matrix would call me. But the chances are that these guys are going to fold. Again, keep in mind, we are on the bubble, and this is the key here, that we are on the bubble, and I'm raising on the button. They do not want to get knocked out of the tournament and not make it into money. So shoving here would be a standard play. So, and the big bully picks it up.